The Philadelphia 76ers are up 2-0 in the series against the Brooklyn Nets. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Big Fight Fuel channel, where we speak the truth, we're honest, we give our takes on the Philadelphia 76ers, man. I'm happy. I got a huge smile on my face right now. That first half, the second quarter in particular, scared me. It really did. I went to go watch the game with a buddy from college, and the Sixers were losing at halftime, and I was nervous. I was actually pretty nervous, I'm not going to lie. But the Sixers did the same thing that they did in Game 1, is they realized what happened in the first half, and they made the necessary adjustments. And that's what good teams do in the playoff months. In Game 1, the Brooklyn Nets were down 9 points at halftime, but they shot the ball 61% from the field. Mikal Bridges had 23 points at halftime. He only had 7 points in the second half, and the Sixers went on to win that game by 20 points. Tonight, another great player on the Brooklyn Nets, Cam Johnson, had 22 points in the first half. 22 points. Only scored 4 points in the second half. 26 points on the game. The Brooklyn Nets scored 35 points in the second half. Did the Sixers play the best game in the world? No, they didn't. They did not. And if that was the Boston Celtics, if that was the Cleveland Cavaliers, I think they might have lost the game tonight. They might have lost, and it would be a 1-1 series. They didn't shoot the ball lights out like they did in Game 1 with 21 threes. Tyrese Maxey was lights out. I can say that right now. I'm going to get that right off right now. Tyrese Maxey, player of the game. Embiid was a monster. I don't care what anybody says about him only having 20 points. Embiid was a monster, but Tyrese Maxey was the player of the game. In my opinion, James Harden was the player of the game in Game 1. 13 assists, 23 points. He was outstanding. James Harden did not have it tonight. He shot 3 for 13. He was 2 for 8 from 3. James Harden had 8 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. Tyrese Maxey was the MVP tonight. Tyrese Maxey had 33 points. Tyrese Maxey had the hot hand tonight. Shot the ball 23 times. He shot 13 for 23. 6 3-pointers. 6 3-pointers. 6 for 13. Tyrese Maxey was this team's MVP tonight. He was electric. He was absolutely electric. It was the Tyrese Maxey game, man, and you need that third guy in the playoffs, along with Joel Embiid and James Harden. And they got great play from Tyrese Maxey. But not only did they get great play by Tyrese Maxey tonight, let's talk about Tobias, man. My boy Tobias Harris shot 8 for 14, 20 points, 12 rebounds. 12 rebounds for my boy, and 2 assists. Tobias Harris was really good, especially in that third quarter. Which I think he had 11 points. He had 7 points at halftime, I think, and he had 11 points in the third quarter. Sixers scored 24 points, where Brooklyn only scored 14 in the third quarter. Tobias Harris, man, really stepping it up, making shots. You know, he had 21 points in Game 1. He had 20 points tonight. If we can get this type of production every game from Tobias Harris, that would be huge. But the problem with Tobias Harris is not consistent with this. He'll go out and he'll have games like he did tonight, and then he'll go out there in game 3 and have 5 points. I'm not saying that's what he's going to do on Thursday night, but he has trouble being consistent, if that makes sense, which I'm blessed by the way he played on Saturday afternoon and tonight. Tobias Harris showed up when the team needed him, and I'm very proud of him for that. PJ Tucker didn't shoot the ball lights out, but his leadership really shows. And I really liked. I didn't go over the game in game 1 because I had to flight back to Florida. But his leadership, apparently in game 1 at halftime, he was giving it to Paul Reed, and he was yelling at him and trying to give Paul Reed some energy because it looked like Paul Reed was lacking energy. So PJ was yelling at him in the locker room, and Paul Reed came out and he felt that energy from PJ Tucker, and Paul Reed played phenomenal in the third quarter. Was a great bench player for us in that game, and he ended up having he had 11 points off the bench. So good stuff right there from Paul Reed in game 1. And PJ Tucker, 8 rebounds. His defensive presence, a lot better guarding Mikal Bridges tonight. Bridges only had 21 points, which, that's second best on the Nets. Cam Johnson obviously had the best game with 28 points. That dude cannot miss in the first half. And like I said, the Sixers made the necessary adjustments they needed to at halftime against the Brooklyn Nets offense and against particularly Cam Johnson, because he was shooting the lights out in the first half. He was shooting the lights out. And he had 4 points in the second half. 6, as I'm autocorrect. He had 6 points because he had 22 points at halftime. But much better on Bridges tonight. Dinwiddie was pretty much a non-factor. 12 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists. Not much from him. Just a really gritty performance from this team. It was low scoring. It was only 68-63 going into the fourth quarter. A gritty performance by the Philadelphia 76ers, and they did the necessary things to get the win and go up 2-0 in the series. This time of year, NBA playoffs, the most important thing is just winning. I don't care how you do it. Just get the win, because then you have another game advantage over the other team. Now, I don't think, no disrespect to the Nets, I hate them, but no disrespect to them, I don't think the Nets are winning a game in Philly. I really don't. Tonight was their shot, and they played atrocious in the second half, 35 points. Tonight was their shot. It really was. And they didn't get it done. They lost 96-84. I think I would love to sweep the Brooklyn Nets, because that would be a big positive boost going into the almighty second round. Let's be honest. The second round is going to be a big deal for the 76ers, especially when they're more than likely playing the Boston Celtics. But if the Sixers win one game in Brooklyn, they should win in 5 games. All the Sixers need to do is win one, and they should win this series in 5 games. Again, I would love it if they swept the Nets. That would be beautiful. But I'm giving the Nets the benefit of the doubt. I'm giving them a game, and I'm saying the Sixers are going to win this series in 5 games. I think the Sixers, that's an early prediction, They get the dub on Thursday night. And then Saturday afternoon, the Nets get the dub. And this series goes back to Philly next Monday. So it wasn't pretty, but they got it done. At the end of the day, they got it done. And that's what I'm proud of, is they found a way to get the win. I totally forgot to talk about Joel Embiid. My goodness, I was about to end the video, and I didn't even talk about Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid only shot the ball 11 times. He made 8 free throws. Joel Embiid had a ridiculous game. Don't let anybody else tell you he did not play good, because Joel Embiid was excellent tonight. On defense, 3 blocks. That block in the fourth quarter on Cam Johnson, my God, I would have watched that 5 times before I came on and clicked record for the video. Joel Embiid, 20 points, 19 rebounds. He had 15 rebounds at halftime, 7 assists, and 3 blocks. Joel Embiid played an excellent defensive game and made some clutch shots to put the game out of reach so that the Brooklyn Nets didn't have a possibility of coming back in this game. He was excellent. Tyrese Maxey was the player of the game. James Harden didn't have his best day. Tobias Harris was really good with 20 and 12. The Sixers won 96-84, and they're up 2-0. 2-0 over the Brooklyn Nets heading into Thursday night's game at Brooklyn at the Barclays Center. I'm pumped for Thursday night, man. I'm getting out of here. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the Big Fight Field channel. I'll be back Wednesday reviewing AEW Dynamite and recapping Sixers Nets Game 3 on Thursday night. So be sure to subscribe. Comment down below your thoughts on the Sixers' victory tonight over the Brooklyn Nets. Hit the like button if you like what you heard from me. Follow me on Twitter and TikTok at Conlon_Joseph. And I'm getting out of here, folks. Thank you so much for joining me. And I'll catch you Wednesday night for AEW. Have a good night. Stay safe. And as always, stay classy.